Good evening and welcome to the Channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. 3 Ukrainian-based Russian paramilitary groups say they have crossed into Russia and are now fighting government troops there. The Freedom of Russia Legion and Siberian Battalion posted videos purportedly showing their fighters in Russia's Belgorod and Kursk regions. An exiled Russian politician claimed one village in the Belgorod region was now controlled by liberation forces. Russia's defense ministry said the breakthrough attempts were thwarted. Ukraine's military denied any involvement in the cross-border raids. Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry has agreed to resign following weeks of mounting pressure and increasing violence in the country. Mr. Henry is currently stranded in Puerto Rico after being prevented by armed gangs from returning home. In a video address announcing his resignation, Mr. Henry urged Haitians to remain calm. It comes after regional leaders met in Jamaica on Monday to discuss a political transition in Haiti. The country has seen escalating violence as gangs take over, including an attack on the international airport, which remains closed to all flights. Palestinian medical staff in Gaza say they've been blindfolded, detained, forced to strip and repeatedly beaten by Israeli troops after a raid at their hospital last month. A doctor at Nasser Hospital described being held for a week in detention, where he said muzzled dogs were set upon him and his hand was broken by an Israeli soldier. His account closely matches those of 2 other medics who wanted to remain anonymous for fear of reprisals. The IDF has denied any mistreatment of doctors. Meanwhile, a ship taking almost 200 tons of food to Gaza has left a port in Cyprus earlier on Tuesday in a pilot project to open a new sea route of aid to a population on the brink of famine. The charity ship Open Arms was seen sailing out of Larnassa port in Cyprus, towing a barge containing flour, rice and protein. The ship belongs to a Spanish charity of the same name. Exactly where it plans to dock when it reaches Gaza has not been disclosed.
We know that this can't be the only ship, right? We need to have second ship lined up, third ship lined up, which we do. The more food we can get into there, into Gaza, the more safe, the more secure it is, the more orderly it is. But until we see more flow, it will continue to be a bit of a security concern.
The UN human rights expert on Russia has said that the death of Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny was Moscow's responsibility, as he was either killed in prison or died from detention conditions that amounted to torture. Speaking at an event on Russian political prisoners, Mariana Katsarova said long periods of solitary confinement, which she said amounted to about 300 days, could have caused a slow death over several years.
Even the fact that he spent in the past several years 300 days in solitary confinement in punishment cells is already, I have called on many occasions that his conditions of detention amounted to torture and ill treatment. So he was tortured, essentially. It was a slow death over these several years. So the Russian government is responsible one way or another for his death. Ever since the death of Alexei Navalny, there is no day passing without asking myself, who is the next Navalny?
Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan have been detained in Romania after European arrest warrants were issued by the UK. The allegations cover 2012 to 2015. The Tate brothers categorically reject all charges. Romanian police said European arrest warrants for 2 men were issued by UK authorities for sexual offences on Monday. The alleged offences also included exploiting people in Great Britain. And California highway patrol officers have been seen clearing up an interstate in Los Angeles after cases of toilet paper fell out of a truck. The loo rolls, which were scattered across multiple lanes, caused a temporary traffic jam. Local police initially tried throwing the paper off the road, but later used brooms and brushes to sweep them off the lanes. The road eventually fully reopened a few hours later. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel's studios in Lagos.